Part 1, The Skyhook Shadow. The first sign that my universe was about to implode came with the routine hum of the Skyhook City's engines fading to a hollow whisper. It was the kind of eerie silence that suggested someone had pulled the plug on the cosmos, the sort that made hairs stand on end and hearts leap into throats. I was a rookie officer, freshly stamped as the newest cog in the bureaucratic machine of Antaeus Station, a 10-mile-high marvel hanging delicately between our world and the stars beyond. As I stood on the bridge, shoulders squared with the arrogance of inexperience, I had no clue of the chaos about to unfold. The station hung in the void like a silver needle threading the planet's atmosphere to the black velvet of space. A marvel of engineering and ambition, a city in the sky. "Malik, you're gawking again," Commander Tasha drawled from her post, without lifting her gaze from the data streams on her console. She had that uncanny ability to catch me at my most oblivious moments, often with a smirk that was equal parts amusement and exasperation. "Just taking it all in, Commander," I replied, forcing a measure of confidence into my voice that I didn't feel. "The view is something." "The view won't save you when the paperwork piles up, kid," she chuckled, gesturing to a stack of hollow reports that loomed taller than my aspirations. I was about to retort with something witty, something that would make her laugh and earn me a rare nod of approval, when the silence turned malignant. Our world shuddered under the weight of an unseen force, and alarms blared with a shrillness that was far too eager to announce bad news. "What's happening?" I asked, my voice sharper than intended as I turned to the nearest console. Tasha was already punching commands into her terminal. Her fingers flew over the touchscreen with a precision that only years of experience could hone. "Comms are down," she reported tersely. "And propulsion, Malik, run a diagnostic on the atmospheric stabilizers. We need to know if we're still anchored." I fumbled with the controls, cursing under my breath as error codes streamed across my screen like a digital waterfall. My heart pounded in my chest, each beat syncing with the pulsing red lights of the emergency beacons. As the station quaked again, I realized with a sinking feeling that this was not a drill. "We're severed," I breathed, the words tasting bitter on my tongue. "The skyhook's been cut." The room fell into a weighted silence, broken only by the crackle of malfunctioning systems. Severance was a death sentence. Without the skyhook's tether, Antaeus Station was a city adrift, a castle in the sky with no foundation to anchor it. "We're falling," Tasha said, her calm exterior masking the grim reality that we were plummeting towards the planet below. Something flickered at the edge of my vision, a shimmer in the darkness beyond the viewport. For a heartbeat, I could have sworn I saw a fleet of ships, streamlined and alien, materializing like specters from the void. Their hulls glinted with an iridescence that was disturbingly beautiful, a cosmic art in motion. But in the next blink, they were gone. A trick of the light, I thought, or maybe my mind playing tricks under the pressure of circumstance. Then, the real alarms began, and the destruction of our station was the least of our problems. "Unidentified ships approaching," the automated system droned, as if it were merely announcing the weather. Tasha glanced at me, eyes sharp like shards of glass. "Malik, get to the escape pods, we're not equipped for a fight." And just like that, I was running, my mind a blur of adrenaline and disbelief. The corridors of Antaeus Station transformed into a nightmarish obstacle course, a maze of flickering lights and groaning metal. Around me, crew members rushed past, faces masks of fear and determination. In the chaos, I caught snatches of conversation, fragments that painted a picture of impending doom. But there was something else too, whispers of a hijacking, a crew gone rogue, and a war machine that might just offer salvation. Suddenly, the idea of an ancient war machine didn't seem so far-fetched. and the prospect of hijacking it less insane. "Commander, what about you?" I yelled over the cacophony, twisting my head back toward Tasha. She was right behind me, her expression grim yet resolute. "I'll hold them off as long as I can." Her words were a punch to the gut. In that moment, I wanted to argue, to demand she come with us, but the set of her jaw spoke volumes. There was no changing her mind. "Don't get killed," I managed, my voice cracking. "That's the plan," she shot back, a ghost of a grin flashing across her face. And then she was gone, swallowed by the chaos, and I was left with the sinking realization that the Skyhook City wasn't the only thing severed from its foundation that day. Part of me, the part that still held onto the illusion of certainty and safety, had been severed as well. As the escape pod jettisoned from the station, the cold embrace of space enveloped us. The stars were unblinking witnesses to the spectacle of Antaeus Station's descent, its silhouette shrinking in the distance like a fallen giant. And all the while, in the pit of my stomach, a new sensation churned, a mix of fear and something dangerously akin to anticipation. The Skyhook's shadow loomed large in my mind, its severance an omen of the unknown journey that lay ahead. Little did I know the real adventure was just beginning, and the mysteries of that ancient war machine awaited, hidden in the void's embrace. Time to buckle up, Malik. You've just leapt from the frying pan into a cosmic firestorm. Part 2: Echoes of the Abyss. The escape pod drifted through the vacuum like a solitary tear in the vastness, though I wished fervently that I could be back on Antaeus Station, dodging paperwork and Commander Tasha's dry wit. Instead, we were on a direct course for the unknown. The pod was cramped. A tin can barely fit for holding a handful of the lucky or unlucky, depending on how you looked at it. The other survivors were a mix of engineers, technicians, and junior officers, all wearing the same expression, a blend of shock and stubborn resolve. We were the misfit toys of a cosmic disaster. Beside me, Jenna, our lead engineer, was muttering calculations under her breath, her fingers dancing over the emergency console. Her fiery hair was a bright contrast to the sterile interior, like a spark in the encroaching darkness. "Malik, you ever think you'd end up in a situation like this?" she asked, not looking up from her work. Her voice carried a sardonic lilt, masking whatever simmering fear lay beneath. "Pretty sure it was in the recruitment brochure," I replied, the attempt at humor a thin veil over my own anxiety. The truth was, I hadn't signed up for heroics or high-stakes adventures. I'd signed up because the Skyhook City offered a way out of the mundane, not into madness. "Coordinates locked," Jenna announced, snapping me back to the present. "We're heading for Orbital Station Cronus." Cronus? I hadn't heard that name in years, not since it was abandoned due to some vague, bureaucratic decree. Rumors whispered of hidden projects and lost technology, the kind of place that teetered on the edge of legend and reality. "Why Cronus?" I asked, an eyebrow raised. "Because," she replied, finally looking at me with a mischievous glint in her eye, "it's better than floating in space until we run out of air." As if to emphasize her point, the pod's thrusters roared to life, pushing us through the emptiness with a jolt that sent my stomach flipping. Hours stretched into eternity as the stars drifted by, unmoved by our plight. The silence was a constant companion, punctuated only by the occasional groan of the pod's hull adjusting to the demands of its passengers. My mind kept wandering to Tasha, wondering if she managed to escape or if she faced those alien ships alone. The guilt gnawed at me, a persistent reminder of my helplessness. Eventually, Cronus came into view, a massive silhouette against the backdrop of infinity. Even in its abandonment, the station was a marvel, a sprawling lattice of interconnected modules, bristling with antennae and docking bays, now lifeless save for the glimmers of static electricity dancing across its surface. "Looks cozy," I quipped, trying to lighten the mood as we prepared to dock. The attempt fell flat, but at least Jenna smirked. The docking process was surprisingly smooth, a small mercy in a day lacking them. As the airlock cycled open, a stale gust assaulted my senses, heavy with the scent of neglect and something metallic, a hint of ozone that tugged at memories I couldn't quite place. We filed into the corridors, the clank of our boots echoing in the cavernous space. It was like stepping into a forgotten time capsule where technology and dust had formed an uneasy truce. Something about it felt off, like a stage set abandoned by actors mid-performance. "Stay together," Jenna advised, her voice low. "We don't know what's still operational here." No sooner had the words left her mouth than the lights flickered, casting brief, haunting shadows that seemed almost eager to tell their tales. My heart kicked up a notch, my hand instinctively reaching for the sidearm holstered at my hip, not much comfort against phantoms, but better than nothing. We navigated the labyrinthine corridors, tension mounting with each turn. It wasn't long before we stumbled upon something that defied explanation. A control room, lights dim but active, humming with the soft, insistent pulse of a functioning interface. "What the?" Jenna breathed, moving towards the consoles with the cautious excitement of a child on Christmas morning. As she worked, the screens came alive with streams of data, and one word kept repeating, as if the station itself was trying to communicate on some primeval level. "Gate." "Gate?" I asked, feeling every bit the clueless newcomer. "It's a—" Jenna paused, eyes widening as realization dawned. "It's a transport system. This whole station is one giant gateway." A gateway to where, though? The implications were both thrilling and terrifying. If Cronus held this secret, what else might be hidden among its depths? "I think we found our war machine," Jenna said, her voice barely a whisper, as if speaking aloud would somehow shatter the fragile reality. Just then, a shrill alarm erupted from the console, tearing through the room and slicing through my thoughts. "Unscheduled activation detected," the system's voice declared, eerily calm amidst the growing frenzy. Something or someone was activating the gate. Panic flared. Were we alone here, or had something else arrived at Cronus before us? We scrambled to decipher the console's readouts, the urgency palpable. I felt the weight of Tasha's sacrifice pressing down on me, urging me forward. The truth was out there, tantalizingly close, but with each beat of the station's pulsing core, the sense of impending doom deepened. And then, as if the universe itself had decided to throw another curveball, the room began to shudder. The very bones of Cronus groaned in protest as the gate's activation sequence reached a fever pitch. The time for indecision was over. We had to make a choice: step through the gateway into whatever lay beyond, or stay and face whatever fate had in store on this derelict precipice. As I took a breath, readying myself to leap into the unknown, a single thought crystallized in my mind. It was a thought that tasted of fear and hope, of loss and potential rebirth. The Skyhook city had set us adrift, but perhaps here, in the heart of an echoing abyss, we might find a new tether. Part 3: Gateway to Shadows. What lay beyond the gateway was beyond any speculation we dared entertain. Yet, as the room's vibrations intensified and the air itself seemed to hum with the energy of the unknown, there was no time to ponder. The gateway was alive, a maw of light and possibility, and it was hungry for us. Jenna and I exchanged a glance, a silent pact born of desperation and trust. Her nod was almost imperceptible, a faint tilt of her head that said, "Let's see what's on the other side." The others gathered around, a mix of fear and determination etched into their expressions. We were a ragtag band of survivors, facing the brink of whatever cosmic tapestry had unwound before us. With a final, synchronizing breath, we stepped through the veil. Instantly, the world was reframed. Gone was the industrial sterility of Cronus, replaced by a panorama that defied the senses. We found ourselves standing on what felt like solid ground, though it shimmered with the illusion of liquid glass. The air was scented with a curious blend of pine and electricity, like nature's breath mingled with the charge of a thunderstorm. Above us, the sky was not the familiar black void speckled with stars, but a swirling canvas of colors, purples, blues, and greens that danced together in mesmerizing vortices. It was beautiful and alien, a dreamscape come to life. In the distance, towering spires punctuated the landscape, their surfaces reflecting the prismatic light like crystal obelisks. "Where the hell are we?" whispered Marcus, one of the technicians, his voice cracking under the weight of wonder and fear. "Definitely not Kansas," I quipped, earning a strained chuckle from Jenna. The truth was, we had no more idea than he did. This place was both strange and familiar, like a forgotten memory surfacing after eons. We congregated near one of the towering spires, its base throbbing with a rhythm that echoed through the soles of our feet. Jenna approached it cautiously, her hand outstretched as if wanting to touch the impossible. "Do you feel that?" she asked, her voice hushed with awe. "It's like it's alive." She was right. As I pressed my palm to the cool, smooth surface, an undeniable sense of intelligence pulsed beneath. A sentience waiting, watching. "We don't belong here," Marcus murmured, his eyes wide as saucers. "Yet here we are," I replied, trying to summon the authority I didn't feel. "And we need to find out why." The ground beneath us shifted slightly, a gentle reminder of the ethereal nature of this realm. As we moved deeper into the expanse, the colors of the sky shifted, slow as the turning of a great wheel, casting shadows that seemed to whisper secrets only they understood. "We need to find shelter," Jenna said, glancing at the peculiar light that played over the landscape. "This place may be beautiful, but I doubt it's benevolent." We drifted toward the nearest outcropping, a rugged formation that jutted from the iridescent sea like a sentinel. As we climbed, I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched, as if this world, or something within it, was keenly aware of our presence and intentions. Reaching the summit, we discovered a series of alcoves carved into the rock, likely formed by whatever forces governed this in-between realm. It was a small respite, but respite nonetheless. As we settled into our newfound refuge, I took stock of our supplies, though the usual rules of survival seemed ill-suited to a place as surreal as this. Hunger and exhaustion were constants, yet they felt secondary to the greater enigma of our location. Jenna sat beside me, her gaze fixed on the shifting sky. "What's your take on all this, Malik? A sneak peek into the afterlife?" Her attempt at levity was a comforting balm in an otherwise overwhelming situation. "If this is the afterlife, then I have some complaints to file about the onboarding process," I replied, my tone laced with dry humor. Her laughter was a small victory, a reminder that even in the face of insurmountable odds, humanity's spirit could endure. But there wasn't much time for humor. A new sound reached us, a low, resonant hum that vibrated through my bones. We scrambled to the edge of our perch, peering into the kaleidoscopic horizon. There, moving with regal grace across the shimmering plain, was a creature unlike anything I had imagined. It looked like a living tapestry, its form a fluid cascade of colors and patterns that shifted with each step it took. Tentacles, for lack of a better word, unfurled from its body, each one weaving through the air in hypnotic arcs. "Is it alive?" Marcus asked, his voice a mixture of awe and apprehension. Only one way to find out, Jenna said, her curiosity burning as brightly as the light in her eyes. As the creature approached, it paused, turning its attention towards us with an awareness that felt deeply unnerving. There was an intelligence in its movements, a deliberate grace that spoke of wisdom and age. Before we could react, a wave of emotion washed over us, an alien communication that bypassed words and went straight to the soul. I was flooded with images, sounds, and sensations that defied articulation. A story ancient and profound, written in the language of stars and echoes. It was clear, this world, this gateway, was a nexus of existence and possibility. And we, accidental interlopers, held the potential to tip the balance, for better or for worse. As the vision receded, the creature left us as quietly as it came, slipping back into the ebb and flow of its shimmering habitat. Silence reclaimed the space, but the weight of its message lingered. We were not alone, nor were we without purpose. The same question echoed in each of our minds. What now? The gateway had brought us here, to this tableau of mystery and magic. We had seen the light, tasted the electric air of a realm beyond reckoning. So, Jenna said, breaking the silence, who wants to see what happens next? Her words sparked a fire in our weary hearts. As one, we nodded, ready to face whatever lay ahead. For in a universe filled with shadows and shimmers, the only sure way forward was into the light. Part 4, Threads of Fate. As the creature vanished into the shifting horizon, I felt a renewed sense of purpose, as though the very fibers of this enigmatic world had entwined with my own. The air pulsed with potential, a living testament to possibilities that stretched beyond the confines of imagination. We had been given a glimpse into the heart of the cosmos, and the call to action was clearer than ever. Right, so where do we start? Marcus ventured, his voice still tinged with the wonder of recent revelations. First, we need to understand what this place can offer, Jenna said, her analytical mind already piecing together the fragments of our situation. Not just as a refuge, but as a means to get back to our own reality, armed with whatever knowledge or technology this world holds. I nodded, the weight of responsibility settling on my shoulders. And we need to ensure that we don't inadvertently destroy what's here. We're guests, not conquerors. The group agreed, and we set out once more, earnest explorers in a world filled with uncharted marvels. Our path led us deeper into the heart of this ethereal domain, each step an echo of courage and curiosity. As we traversed the crystalline plain, the landscape shifted subtly, as if responding to our presence. Colors deepened, and patterns emerged, forming trails that zigzagged toward another towering structure on the horizon. The spire loomed larger with each step, its form a beacon of both guidance and intrigue. When we reached it, Jenna paused, her gaze drawn to an intricate etching on its surface. A myriad of symbols coalesced into a mosaic of meaning, a narrative woven into stone. I think it's a kind of map, she observed, tracing the shapes with a practiced touch. Or maybe a guide. As she analyzed the patterns, I felt the peculiar sensation of being watched again. It was as if threads of perception were weaving through the air, examining us from angles unseen. I turned, half expecting to see the kaleidoscope creature reappear, but the landscape remained still, the only movement the gentle dance of light and shadow. "Look at this," Jenna called, excitement threading her voice. "There's a section here that seems to correspond to the gateway we came through." The revelation hung in the air, heavy with implication. If the map was accurate, then it was possible, even likely, that more gateways existed. Each one could open to different realms, dimensions, or worlds, a network of cosmic doorways. "Can we use it to find a path home?" Marcus asked, hope flickering amidst the uncertainty. We'll need to decipher more of these markings, Jenna replied, her determination as strong as ever. There might be clues in the environment or the creatures we encounter. As she spoke, a new sound drifted to us, a melodic resonance that seemed to originate from the very foundation of the spire. It was a song composed of vibrations and frequencies, a symphony of the universe. Is that music? I wondered aloud, the harmonics wrapping around my consciousness like a comforting embrace. It's a language, Jenna said, awestruck. The spire is communicating. The concept was as exhilarating as it was daunting. The spire's song seemed to carry messages, harmonies of knowledge waiting to be unlocked. I felt a hum of urgency, an understanding that time was not a luxury we could afford. But before we could delve further, a tremor ran through the ground. The spire shivered, releasing a cascade of glowing motes into the air. They danced around us, their light illuminating a new path that led away from the structure, deeper into the unknown. Seems like we're being invited somewhere, I suggested, the thrill of discovery tingling along my nerves. Or warned away, Jenna countered, though her eyes gleamed with the spark of adventure. With no other choice presenting itself, we followed the luminescent trail. Each step tightened the knot of anticipation in my chest, a compulsion to unravel the secrets of this world pulling us forward. The path wound through a grove of crystalline trees, their branches alive with whispers of wind and light. The moats led us to a clearing, where the air shimmered with a peculiar energy. In the center stood a podium, its surface inscribed with the same symbols we had seen on the spire. Approaching it, I hesitated, a strange familiarity gripping me. It was as if the podium awaited my touch, a key ready to unlock something vital. As I placed my hand upon it, a flare of energy surged through my arm, setting my senses alight. In an instant, images flooded my mind, bursts of clarity interspersed with shadows of doubt. I saw echoes of worlds beyond our own, intricate connections webbing through time and space. I glimpsed potential futures, paths not yet taken, each thread woven into the tapestry of fate. My heart pounded a primal rhythm, a heartbeat shared with the universe itself. This world, this gateway, was not just a passage but a fulcrum, a pivot point upon which countless realities balanced. As the vision faded, I staggered back, breathless but filled with a newfound understanding. The stakes were higher than any of us had realized. We were players in a cosmic game, and the rules were written in stars and shadows. The clearing fell silent, the motes extinguishing their glow as if their task was complete. Jenna and Marcus watched me with a mixture of concern and curiosity, awaiting revelation. "We have to choose wisely," I said, the weight of the podium's message heavy upon me. "Every step we take here, every decision, shapes more than just our fate." The gravity of my words settled over us like a mantle, a reminder that our steps carried echoes far beyond our current moment. With a deep breath, we turned back toward the spire, determined to unlock the secrets of this enchanted realm and find our way home, before the threads of fate unraveled further than we could control. Part 5: Threads of the Unknown. The path back to the spire felt different, alive with the echoes of what we had just experienced. My steps were measured, each one a careful negotiation between the awe of discovery and the pressure of responsibility. The images that had flooded my mind felt like a lifetime ago, yet they lingered, a constant whisper on the edge of consciousness. Jenna and Marcus walked beside me, silent but alert, their expressions a mirror of my own contemplations. Our earlier elation had been tempered by the enormity of what lay before us, a tangled web of realities that shimmered with promise and peril. "What's our angle here?" Marcus finally broke the silence, his voice low and cautious. If these gateways are all connected, how do we know which one leads home? Or if going home is even the right choice, Jenna added, her mind clearly still unraveling the potential of the unique world we found ourselves in. This place is a treasure trove. Whatever technology or knowledge resides here could change everything. She was right, of course. The implications were staggering. This nexus could hold the power to alter not just our fate but that of countless worlds. Each gateway we found might unlock new insights, new opportunities, or new dangers. We need more information, I said, my resolve hardening. And I think the answers lie with those spires. They're the keystones of this place. The spire towered ahead, its crystalline surface refracting the vibrant sky in a dizzying array of colors. As we approached, I felt that familiar sensation of being watched, a subtle awareness that prickled at the edges of perception. "Stay alert," Jenna warned, her gaze flicking across the landscape. "We still don't know what else might be out there." Her caution was well-founded. In this world where reality seemed fluid, any number of unknowns could be lurking just beyond our senses. We reached the base of the spire, and Jenna immediately began examining the symbols, her fingers tracing the etched lines with thoughtful precision. Marcus and I kept watch, our eyes scanning the horizon for any sign of the kaleidoscope creature or other unexpectedly sentient beings. As Jenna worked, I couldn't help but think about the creature's message, the vision of interconnected worlds, each thread a story in the grand tapestry of existence. We were part of something much larger than ourselves, a realization that was as humbling as it was exhilarating. "Got something," Jenna announced, breaking my reverie. "These symbols, they're coordinates, but not like anything I've ever seen. It's more like a musical score." "A score," Marcus echoed, incredulous. "How does that help us?" "If we can decode it," Jenna explained, her excitement building, "we might be able to pinpoint the exact frequency needed to access different gateways. Think of it like tuning a radio to find the right station." Intriguing as it was, the concept was daunting. We were essentially searching for a melody in a universe filled with noise, hoping to hit the right note that would open the door we needed. "Only one way to find out," I said, a grin tugging at the corner of my mouth. "Let's see if we can make this world sing." Jenna's enthusiasm was infectious as she began inputting data into her portable console, trying to align the spire's symbols with the harmonic frequencies of the environment. The process was painstakingly slow, each adjustment requiring intense focus and precision. As we stood watch, Marcus turned to me, his expression thoughtful. "Malik, I've been thinking, if we do find a way home, what then? Do we tell anyone about this place?" The question lingered in the air like a distant echo. The ethical implications were enormous. Revealing the existence of this nexus could unleash a torrent of exploration, exploitation, and possibly destruction, not just of this world but potentially of many others. "Maybe we don't," I replied, the weight of the decision pressing heavily on my conscience. "Or maybe we do with the right safeguards in place, but first we need to survive long enough to make that decision." Before Marcus could respond, Jenna whooped with triumph. "I think I've got it, the harmonics, they're aligning." We gathered around as she initiated the sequence, the air vibrating with an almost tangible resonance. The spire began to glow softly, its light pulsating in time with the rhythm of the universe. Suddenly, a portal flickered into existence, its surface rippling like water kissed by a gentle breeze. This was not the gateway we had entered, but a new one, its destination unknown. "Whatever's beyond, it's different from where we came from," Jenna said, her voice trembling with a combination of fear and excitement. Our journey had prepared us for this moment, yet standing on the precipice of the unknown felt like staring into the abyss, daring it to blink first. "We go together," I declared, meeting the eyes of my companions. "Whatever lies on the other side, we face it as one." They nodded, their courage mingling with my own as we stepped forward, crossing the threshold into the portal's embrace. The world warped around us, a kaleidoscope of light and sound that pulled us through the ether. Emerging on the other side, we were met not by the vibrant hues of the Nexus world, but by a stark, monochrome landscape. The air was heavy, charged with static, and the ground beneath us cracked and shifted like brittle parchment. Yet amidst the bleakness, a structure loomed, a vast, ancient edifice etched with symbols similar to those on the spires. It called to us, promising answers and perhaps another thread of fate. As we moved toward it, the familiar sensation of being observed returned, more intense than before. This world, whatever it was, held secrets, secrets that whispered to our souls and challenged our resolve. We had entered a new chapter, one woven with shadows and potential. And as I glanced at Jenna and Marcus, I knew we had only just begun to unravel the mystery of the portals and the truths they concealed. Part 6: Veil of the Unseen. The landscape lay before us, a tableau of monochrome desolation that seemed to stretch endlessly into the horizon. The air crackled with an energy both alien and familiar, as if the very atmosphere conducted a symphony of secrets waiting to be discovered. This was a world stripped of color yet rich with possibilities, a stark contrast to the vivid realms we'd traversed before. The ancient edifice loomed ahead, its weathered facade etched with the same kind of symbols that had guided us thus far. It was a monolith of mystery, standing solitary amidst the barren expanse, beckoning us with promises of revelation, or perhaps ruin. "We should be careful," Jenna said, breaking the silence as we moved forward, her voice tempered by a mixture of caution and curiosity. "I doubt this place is as empty as it seems." "Just once I'd like to step through one of these portals and find a beach resort on the other side," Marcus quipped, his attempt at humor a valiant effort to dispel the tension that clung to us like a second skin. The edifice drew nearer with each step, towering over us like a silent sentinel of forgotten epochs. Its surface was a tapestry of time, worn smooth by the eons yet still vibrant with the promise of knowledge. As we approached, I felt that now familiar sensation of being watched, but here it was more intense, as if the very stones were alive with awareness. "These symbols," Jenna said, studying them with a focused intensity. "They're more intricate than the ones on the spires. Maybe they're meant to convey more complex ideas." "It's like a library," I suggested, reaching out to trace one of the symbols. "A repository of history and knowledge waiting to be unlocked." As my fingers brushed the stone, a shiver ran through me, an electric thrill that spoke of hidden mechanisms awakening from slumber. The ground beneath us trembled slightly, and the edifice began to hum, the sound resonating deep within my bones. "What's happening?" Marcus asked, taking a cautious step back. "Give it a moment," Jenna said, her voice a study of calm anticipation. "Let's see what it wants to show us." The hum deepened, rising to a crescendo as patterns of light danced across the surface of the edifice, aligning with the symbols in a radiant display. Then, as quickly as it began, the light coalesced, forming an archway that glowed with an inner luminescence, a portal not unlike the ones we had already traversed. "This is it," I said, my heart hammering in my chest. "This is what we've been searching for." But as we stood there, contemplating the threshold before us, a change rippled through the air. The landscape wavered, and from the shadows emerged figures, silhouettes indistinct yet unmistakably sentient. They moved with a grace that belied the severity of their surroundings, their forms fluid and shifting like smoke in the wind. "Look," Jenna whispered, her eyes wide with wonder. The figures approached with an elegance that struck me as both beautiful and eerie. They were entities woven from light and darkness, their bodies a lattice of energy that defied any conventional description. In their presence, the landscape seemed to breathe, to come alive with a vibrancy invisible moments before. One of the figures stepped forward, its form shifting smoothly as it extended an appendage, a gesture of communication, not threat. As it reached toward us, a wave of sensation flooded my mind, not words but impressions, emotions wrapped in layers of meaning. The entity conveyed a message of caution and choice. The portal was an opportunity and a challenge, a path forward fraught with potential and peril. We were explorers at the edge of understanding, tasked with the stewardship of what we might discover. "Are they warning us?" Marcus asked, his voice barely a whisper. "Or inviting us," Jenna replied, clearly entranced by the encounter. "These beings, they're part of the fabric of this place." It was a profound moment, charged with the weight of decision. The portal beckoned, a shimmering promise of deeper knowledge, but the entity's presence reminded us of the responsibilities that came with such power. "We have to go," I said, the words firm with conviction. "There's a reason we're here, a reason we've been led to this point." The others nodded, resolve melding with curiosity as we prepared to step into the unknown once more. The entity watched with its flickering gaze, an enigmatic guardian of this crossroads of existence. As we moved forward, the portal pulsed with a rhythm that resonated in my very core. The threshold was a veil of light, a membrane through which the next leg of our journey awaited. And as we crossed it, the world shimmered and shifted, enveloping us in a cascade of sensations. We emerged into a landscape transformed, a realm of intricate beauty and complex geometry, where structures soared into endless skies and rivers of luminescent energy flowed like veins through. The Earth. It was a world that pulsed with life, each element a note in a grand orchestral harmony we had only begun to comprehend. Everything was alive with intent, from the wind that carried whispers of ancient songs to the ground that hummed with purpose. This was a place of creation and connection, and its secrets were woven into its very essence. As I stood amidst the wonder of it all, I realized that our journey was far from over. We had crossed a threshold, but the true challenge lay ahead, to navigate this realm of possibilities and find our place within its vast tapestry. Only then could we hope to understand the full magnitude of the portals and the power they held. With renewed determination, we set forth into the heart of this new world, each step a dance with destiny as we followed the threads of the unknown. And in that moment, I understood that we were not merely travelers, we were part of something greater, threads woven into the infinite fabric of the universe itself. Part 7. Symphony of Spheres. The realm we had entered was unlike anything we'd seen before, a world designed by some cosmic architect who clearly had a penchant for grandeur and the enigmatic. The sky was a dome of swirling azure and gold, with celestial bodies orbiting overhead in a slow, hypnotic dance. Beneath our feet, the ground was a mosaic of shimmering stones that pulsed with a soft glow, as though the planet itself was breathing. Our small group moved cautiously through this kaleidoscope of wonder, each step guided by curiosity and the silent understanding that every corner could hide new marvels or dangers. Jenna, with her insatiable thirst for knowledge, was already cataloging every detail, her mind a whirlwind of analysis and awe. "Feels like we've stepped inside a giant music box," Marcus observed, his voice barely rising above the gentle hum that enveloped us. "Everything's so alive." It was an apt description. The air was thick with symphonic whispers, a chorus of unseen forces that sang in harmonies only nature could compose. Each note seemed to resonate with the structures around us, spiraling towers, intricate bridges, and cascading waterfalls of liquid light, all synchronized in an elegant ballet. "Look there," Jenna pointed, her excitement infectious as she gestured toward a series of arches that linked the landscape like arteries. "I think those might lead to the source of all this energy." The arches beckoned, their surfaces inscribed with flowing lines of light that seemed to shift and change as we approached. The paths they formed were as much part of the landscape as the rivers and valleys, guiding us toward the heart of this vibrant realm. We moved with purpose, aware of the time slipping through our fingers like grains of sand. Every step forward felt like a step deeper into the heart of the mystery, each moment pregnant with the promise of revelation. As we drew closer, the hum around us intensified, the music of the spheres reaching a crescendo that wrapped around our senses. It was as though the world was sharing its song with us, inviting us to join in the dance of creation. "There," I said, pointing toward a central plaza where the arches converged. In its center stood a structure that defied easy description, a vast, pulsating orb that hovered above the ground, encased in a latticework of shimmering threads. The orb was a symphony captured in form, each strand of its lattice vibrating with an energy that felt almost sentient. It was as if we had stumbled upon the very heart of this world, a confluence of sound and light where the threads of reality were woven together. "What do you think it is?" Marcus asked, his voice tinged with reverence. "Maybe some kind of nexus," Jenna speculated, her eyes wide with wonder. "It could be the source of the harmonics that hold this place together." Drawn by an irresistible pull, I approached the orb, feeling its energy wash over me in waves. As I reached out to touch the lattice, a sudden rush of sensation enveloped me, a cascade of images and sounds that flooded my consciousness. In that instant, I was everywhere and nowhere, my awareness expanding beyond the confines of my body. I saw worlds linked by threads of light, each one a unique melody in the grand symphony of existence. I heard the chorus of the cosmos, a song of unity and diversity, a harmony of infinite possibility. The revelation was staggering, a reminder of the interconnectedness of all things. But amidst the beauty, there was a discordant note, a warning that echoed through the harmony like a distant thunderstorm. It was a reminder of balance, a cautionary tale of the consequences should the scales tip too far in any one direction. Pulling my hand back, I returned to myself, the vivid tapestry of the universe fading to the familiar sights and sounds of the plaza. Jenna and Marcus watched me closely, their eyes reflecting concern and curiosity. "What did you see?" Jenna asked, her voice soft yet urgent. "Everything," I replied, the weight of the vision settling heavily on my shoulders. "This place, it's a keystone, a critical junction in the web of realities, and it must remain in balance." The implications were clear. We had stumbled upon a place of immense power, one that must be protected and understood. But the warning echoed in my mind, a reminder that our presence here could disrupt the delicate equilibrium. "So what do we do?" Marcus asked, his eyes searching mine for answers. "We learn," I said, my resolve hardening. "We ensure this place remains balanced, and we take that knowledge back with us to protect our world and others." In that moment, our purpose crystallized. We were not just explorers seeking adventure. We were guardians of a secret that, if mishandled, could unravel the very fabric of existence. With renewed determination, we turned our attention back to the orb, ready to decipher its mysteries and secure the symphony of spheres for the future. The path was uncertain, but together we would navigate it, guided by the music of the universe and the threads of the unknown. Part 8. The Harmonic Enigma. The orb's lattice of light and sound radiated a gentle warmth, as if inviting us to delve deeper into its mysteries. Each strand vibrated with a unique frequency, a testament to the complexity woven into this world. Our mission was clear: to understand the nexus we had discovered and ensure its integrity. "Let's start by mapping these frequencies," Jenna proposed, her voice steady with purpose. "If we can identify them, we might learn how they interact with each other and with us." We set about the task with a renewed sense of dedication, using Jenna's instruments to capture the symphony playing out before us. Marcus helped by sketching the intricate patterns into his notebook, a visual representation of the aural tapestry surrounding us. As the data coalesced, the orb responded in kind, its light deepening in hue and intensity. It was as if it recognized our efforts, offering a symbiotic dance of collaboration and understanding. Each note, each vibration was a piece of a grand puzzle, waiting to be uncovered. "These harmonics," Jenna mused, her brow furrowed in concentration, "they remind me of the fundamental forces back home: gravity, electromagnetism. It's like this world has its own set of natural laws tied directly to the music." "Maybe it's all connected," Marcus suggested, his pencil moving rapidly across the page. "The music, the energy, the balance, it's all part of the same system." It was a theory that resonated with me. The idea that this place operated on principles we were only beginning to grasp filled me with a sense of wonder and responsibility. As we worked, a new sound emerged from the orb, a low, resonant tone that cut through the symphony like a beacon. It was a call, a directive that tugged at our senses. The orb was guiding us, pointing toward something beyond the plaza, deeper within the heart of this world. "We should follow it," I said, feeling the melody tug at my very being. "There's something it wants to show us." We gathered our gear and set off in the direction the sound indicated, the orb's song serving as our compass. The path led us across a bridge of crystalline light, suspended above a canyon that shimmered with liquid shadows. As we crossed, I couldn't shake the feeling that the world was watching us. The air was alive with anticipation, as if holding its breath in collective suspense. It was a reminder that we were part of a much larger narrative, woven into the threads of fate and possibility. On the other side of the bridge, we found ourselves at the entrance to a structure that rose majestically from the earth. Its architecture was a testament to both geometry and grace, a symphony in stone that echoed the harmonic beauty of the orb. "This is it," Jenna breathed, her eyes wide with wonder, "the source of the call." The entrance beckoned, an archway of light that shimmered with the promise of revelation. As we stepped through, the air around us seemed to pulse with energy, the music of the world crescendoing in a harmonious welcome. Inside, the chamber was a cathedral of light and sound, its domed ceiling alive with shifting patterns that mirrored the orb's symphony. At the center stood a pedestal, upon which rested an artifact that pulsed with a rhythm all its own. The artifact was a sphere, much like the orb outside, but smaller and more intricate. Its surface was a lattice of interlocking elements, each one singing its own part in a complex harmony. "Could this be?" Marcus began, his voice trailing off in awe. "It's a key," Jenna answered, her scientific mind latching onto the possibilities. "A key to understanding this world and possibly others." The artifact felt like a culmination of our journey, the answer to the questions that had driven us forward. It was a bridge not just between worlds, but between understanding and enlightenment. As I reached for the artifact, a sensation washed over me, a feeling of connection, as though my essence was being woven into the tapestry of this place. It was a bond forged in music and light, a promise of knowledge and responsibility. The moment my fingers brushed its surface, the symphony around us shifted. The walls of the chamber resonated with a new melody, one that spoke of unity and purpose. It was a song of creation and continuity, a reminder of the role we played in the vast orchestra of existence. With the artifact in hand, the path forward was clear. We were stewards of a secret as ancient as the stars themselves, charged with the task of preserving the balance we had discovered and sharing its lessons with our world. As we left the chamber and made our way back across the bridge, the orb's song followed us, a guiding light in the symphony of shadows and stars. We were no longer just travelers. Our journey had transformed us into guardians of the harmonic enigma, keepers of a truth that transcended space and time. And as we prepared to return to our world, the promise of discovery lingered, a reminder that the music of the universe was endless, and there would always be more threads to unravel in the grand tapestry of the unknown. Part 9. Echoes of Resurgence. The resonant echo of the chamber's melody followed us back across the bridge, a harmonious thread that wove its way into our hearts and minds. Holding the intricate sphere, the artifact, we felt a profound connection to the world we'd ventured into and an even deeper responsibility to both protect and understand its secrets. The landscape stretched before us, a living symphony of color and light. Each step we took was like a note in a larger composition, the air buzzing with possibilities yet to be realized. Our journey was far from over, and as we reached the base of the orb once more, we knew it was time to decipher the next part of the song. Jenna, ever the analyst, studied the artifact with an intensity that made it seem as though she might unravel the universe's secrets with thought alone. Her gaze moved between the sphere and the humming orb above us, as if comparing melodies that only she could hear. "This artifact," she mused aloud, spinning it gently in her hands, "it's more than just a key. I think it's a kind of conductor. It can shape the harmonics, perhaps even alter them." Marcus joined her, his eyes wide with the excitement of discovery. "So we could use it to modify the portals, change the frequencies, maybe even choose where they lead." "Exactly," she replied, her voice tinged with awe and apprehension. The implications were staggering. We had a tool that could potentially navigate or even manipulate the web of realities woven through the fabric of this world. But with such power came the daunting responsibility of its use. My thoughts were a tumult of potential strategies and cautionary tales, but time was not on our side. The energy from the orb was growing stronger, the lattice of light and sound becoming more complex by the moment. "What if the artifact can also stabilize these harmonics?" I said, an idea sparking into life. "We might be able to use it to reinforce the balance of this realm, ensure it remains whole even as we explore its possibilities." Jenna nodded, a spark of understanding in her eyes. "If we can align the artifact with the orb's frequency, it might resonate throughout this world and beyond. A safeguard." The plan was ambitious, possibly reckless, but it felt right. And so, with careful precision, Jenna and Marcus began the delicate process of tuning the artifact to the orb's symphony, their focus unwavering as they wove a bridge of sound and light. As their work continued, I turned my gaze to the horizon, where the vibrant landscape shimmered in the twilight. This world, with all its mysteries and marvels, had embraced us, however momentarily. I felt a pang of longing, a thread of gratitude woven with the realization that this place would remain a part of us, wherever we went. A sudden shift in the air pulled my attention back. The orb's song was changing, harmonizing with the notes that Jenna and Marcus were aligning. It was as if the world was responding, acknowledging our presence and our intent. As the last note fell into place, a wave of energy swept over us, a chorus of harmony that resonated through the ground beneath our feet and the sky above. For a moment, we were suspended in a cocoon of sound and light, the music a binding force that connected us to each other and to the world itself. And then, as quickly as it had begun, the moment passed. The symphony faded into a gentle hum, the orb's glow softening to a steady pulse. The artifact, now attuned, lay quietly in Jenna's hand, its purpose fulfilled. "It's done," she whispered, her voice filled with both relief and wonder. Marcus let out a breath he hadn't realized he was holding. So, what now? I looked out over the landscape, feeling the weight of our experiences settling into a profound clarity. "Now we go home," I said, "and we carry this knowledge with us. We protect it, share it carefully, and ensure that the balance remains." A sense of resolve anchored us as we moved toward the portal that would lead us back to our own world. The path was clear, the way forward illuminated by the understanding we had gained. As we stepped through the gateway, the world shifted once more, the vibrant colors and symphony of harmonics fading to a familiar reality. We were home, yet transformed, the weight of our journey etched into our very souls. The station where it all began lay before us, a testament to both the fragility and strength of human endeavor. And as we looked out at the stars beyond, I knew our story was just one note in a much larger symphony, one we would continue to explore, with the echoes of our journey guiding us toward new horizons.